participants after the tea break. We have a second session for this day. The second session has been taken by Dr. J. Shrikant sir. Sir has joined the session. Sir, very good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
So welcome to the session, day 2 of our FDP program, sir. A brief introduction about the sir. Sir has finished PhD from IIT Dhanbad in 2017, MTech from NIT Mysore, BTech from JNTU Hyderabad. He is a professor at Vagdevi Engineering College. He delivered sessions in various international conferences. He served as technical advisory committee member for various international conferences. He is a reviewer for various Web of Science journals such as Wireless Personal Communication, Springer, Soft Computing, etc. He is a recipient of 5 plus papers in Web of Science journals and he has 7 international conference proceedings. His research areas are wireless sensor networks, the Internet of Things, Information Retrieval System. Today, Sir will be delivering a session on Python for AI. Sir, please take over the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your invitation.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, all the participants. Let's discuss about the Python in perspective of artificial intelligence. Before going to this presentation, I would like to tell you why we have to choose Python only for this artificial intelligence. It is not mandatory that we have to choose only Python. Before development of Python language, there are so many languages which have developed, and so many AI projects are also developed in CPP as well as Java. But why the Python is very popular in these days for implementing AI projects and machine learning projects? Okay, let me share my presentation. Yeah. Whether presentation is visible?
No, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Yes.
It's visible,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah. The reasons for the popularity of Python is it is very simple uh, in terms of syntax, and it is very, developing a programming language. I mean, in developing a project, it takes very less number of codes, less number of lines. Coding is very simple, as well as content or the size of the code is also very less. See, because of these two factors, why we require this less coding, rather more number of lines. Everybody knows that debugging problem will be there. If something is there, if some debug is there, then we need to find out and fix it. It is very difficult for a large number of lines. But how it is possible to write in less number of codes? So this will happen with the help of inbuilt libraries for AI. Okay, Python is not only meant for AI, it is also important. It is also playing some crucial roles in major domains, major research domains like your data sciences and networks. Okay, so every individual domain will be having its own packages. Okay, the major advantage of Python for AI is its inbuilt libraries. For example, NumPy, numerical Python, and scientific and mathematical Python, Matplotlib, NLTK, SimpleAI are some important inbuilt libraries for Python. And the main advantage with this Python is it is open source, and it is not. We are not. I mean, the it is not paid. We can download it and we can install that in any irrespective of your platform, like your operating systems. Windows or Linux operating systems. It doesn't mean that for Mac OS also, even Mac OS also, it is very free, and you can develop your own AI projects. The broad range of programming is Python can be used for the broad range of programming tasks, like small shell script to enterprise web application. This is another reason Python is suitable for AI project. Yeah, features of Python is easy to learn also. It is not simple, it is easy to learn, and Python has few keywords like simple structure and a clear defined syntax. Okay, how after this small introduction of this Python, we'll compare with some other language, in which way it is very simple, and uh, how many lines it will take when compared to other languages. We'll see. This allows the student to pick up the language quickly. Easy to read. When it is easy to read the language, if it is resembles the English language, then it is very simple to read. And if it is having some meaning, then it is also very impressive to read as well as to understand the programming language. So Python code is more clearly defined and visible to the eyes. That's what. Easy to maintain. Why easy to maintain? It is easy to maintain such that mean it contains very less number of lines as well as clear cut definitions will be there. As I said earlier, it resembles just English language, and uh, mentioning errors clearly it points out the error where it is actually, so that we can go there and fix it there itself. So maintenance is very easy in a Python. A broad standard library, this also I have mentioned, and it is not only for uh, fixed operating systems. It is also used for various operating systems, and it is not only operating systems. It is also useful for the various research domains. Interactive mode, Python has support for an interactive mode, which allows interactive testing and debugging for snippets of code. I think most of the participants have experienced this Python programming. Whenever you type something, it gives some hint, or it gives some suggestions whether you are looking for this package or you are looking for this library. Such kind of suggestions it will give. So this is called interactive mode. Okay, and it is portable. Python can run on wide variety of hardware platforms and has the same interface on all platforms. Okay, it's extendable. We can add low-level models to the Python interpreter. So we can extendability, accessibility, or elasticity, whatever means whatever the code is already present, or you have developed a project and you want to extend the project directly, you can extend it and without modification of the previous. So this is the extendability of your project. These modules enable programmers to add or customize their tools to be more efficient. Databases, Python provides interface to all major commercial databases. GUI programming, Python supports GUI applications that can be created and project to many system calls, libraries, and Windows systems such as Windows MFC, Macintosh, and X Windows system for Unix. Scalable, uh, Python provides a better structure and support for large programs and shell scripting. Okay, so that is the brief introduction of the Python. Why we are going for the Python, or why we have chosen for the why we have chosen Python for the artificial intelligence. Now, Python installation. So, sorry, it is wrong types, data types in Python, it is wrong. And Python download and installation. This is very simple. You just uh, try to, you just go to python.org and in download options, you will find your suitable versions, and it is for Windows. For Linux operating systems or some Mac OS, uh, Python maybe Python will be inbuilt, and we need to check the version of the Python. That's it. And if it is having any upgrades, you can go to. You can upgrade in your Unix libraries, Unix operating system, and in Windows, after going to this python.org downloads, you choose your version, real version. Like just click that, download it, and install it. As simple as. And for Anaconda Navigator, this is my favorite platform. This is my favorite platform for Python programming. Okay. So just if you want to download this Anaconda Navigator, and it is desktop graphical user interface, and it supports in Unix also. Yeah, this is the Anaconda Navigator. Check your desktop and operating system, and it's bit. Then download it, and same. Follow the steps to install. Okay, I don't want to spend much time on these installations because most of the faculty members may be aware of this Anaconda Navigator and Python. So I would like to switch on to Python programming directly. Okay, so these are the basic data types which are also present in your previous language like C, C++, Java, and all. Text type is string. Here, string was not there in C, but here we are providing string also. Numerical types, int, float, complex, and no need to define this thing. These variables are data types in your coding. Okay. Next, how we are defining loops. How we are defining loops here. See, in C, include stdio.h. Again, it's a mistake there. Int main, int x is equal to 3. So we have defined this variable as int, and this is 3. Next, we have already, redefined this as 4.5. Means it is holding, the variable is holding the value 4.5. Where in Python, no need to give the libraries or packages. Okay. Directly you can give x is equal to 3. This resembles, this is equal to 3. And it doesn't ask about the type of the variable, right? Whether it is integer type or some floating type. And if you are redefining x is equal to 4.5, x is equal to 4.5, it holds the value 4.5. Whether I am audible to all? Am
Yes,
I audible?
sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next, see, it is not loop, just a basic idea I have given. And now come to loops. To mention loops in C, we have to write these many number of lines. For I is equal to 0, I less than, there is a syntax for this for loop in your C. Everybody knows this. But in Python, this is very simple. For I in range 0 to 10, print I. By default, it increments by 1. Okay. And here, this indentation is mandatory because for is creating a loop here. For is creating a loop with the open brace and a close brace. Now in that block, printf is there. Here, for we are creating a block for this for loop. For this in Python, automatically it creates its own block, but No need to mention about the open braces and closed braces. And just if you give indentation, it means that this print belongs to this print statement belongs to this for loop. Is it okay? Yeah. Okay. Range start. This is the general syntax: start, stop, and step. Okay, so this is start and stop, and if it is as it is default value is increment by 1. Okay, so here this is mentioned, I plus plus is mentioned, but here automatically it increments by 1. If I want to step 2, I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus 2, I is equal to I plus 2. What do you mean that? Every time 0 2 4 6 8 will come. That will be your answer. Here, how to mention this? For I in range 0 comma 10 comma 2. So how many number of uh, what do you call steps or increments? What value will be incremented, whether it is 1 or 2? We are just mentioning that. That is called step, right? Now, so this is while loop again. I is equal to 2, while I less than 2, I less than 12, print I plus is equal to 3. See, these two statements belong to this while loop because there is some indentation after this while loop. Means these two lines, these two lines will belong to this while loop. This will be your output. Okay. Yeah. These are the conditions. In basic programming, we are looking for the definitions and loops and conditions. For I in range 0 to 5, 0 comma 5, if I modulo 3 is equal to 0, print I. Elif, generally in C programming, we are using else if. But here we are using a keyword that is elif I is equal to I percentile 3 is equal to 1, print I plus 10, else print I minus 10. So this is the range we are moving from 0 to 5, 0 percentile 3 is equal to 0. So this will be your output. See, x percentile y produces remainder. Everybody knows this from x divided by 5. For example, this is the general example I have given. Okay. And this is functions. This is one more important uh, important point in all the programming languages, and see how we are defining functions. In Python, how we are defining Python, how we are defining a function. In my absolute value, int my ABC, int value, this is a general definition of C. If value less than 0, return 0 minus value, then return this value. Here, definition is my abyss, and there is a small indentation of your definition. And if value less than 0, if value less than 0, return 0 minus value is this. So this open brace and some complexity is missing in this Python program. It is looking like simple, and with the help of this indentation, it is very easy to understand also. Yeah. Now, uh, in the general introduction of the Python, how to reduce the number of lines, I said uh, minimum number of, uh, what, what can we say? Number of lines will be reduced with the help of package. Excuse me. Yeah. We make the computer learn based on past experience to the data stored, or create algorithms that make the computer learn by itself. Is because the support for these domains with inbuilt libraries such as pandas, scikit-learn, numpy, and so many more packages or libraries. Okay, these are the general libraries. These are the general libraries used to develop AI projects. Okay. See, first one, NumPy, why we have used this NumPy and how to import this, we'll see. NumPy is a Python package that stands for numerical Python. So this package will be having more number of inbuilt functions. It is a core library for scientific computing which contains a powerful n-dimensional array object. NumPy array can also be used in efficient multidimensional container for generic data. See, this is whether is it visible, this portion of code. Import NumPy as NP. How we are importing, like your hash include stdio.h, we are calling preprocessor directives in your C programming. And in the same way, we are importing all the NumPy functions, NumPy library functions into your Python code. A is equal to np dot array 1, 2, 3, print A. So this will be the output. And in multidimensional NumPy array, import NumPy as NP. A is equal to np dot array 1, 2, 3. This is one dimension. This is one row. 4, 5, 6. This is one more row. This output is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, to create this array, this matrix structure in our C programming, it takes two for loops. One is for rows and columns, and we need to uh, get it. We need to scan. I mean, we need to take input from the keyboard, and we need to print. But here, directly you can get with the help of NumPy. Yeah. One more interesting library is Pandas. Mm. Pandas is used for manipulation, analysis, and cleaning. Python Pandas is well suited for different kinds of data, such as this will be explained. This will be explained later. But the importance of the library I'm just giving here. Okay, tabular data with heterogeneously typed columns. Heterogeneously typed means it is not uniform data. Raw data will be there, and cannot imagine. We cannot give any pattern for the data. Ordered and unordered time series data, ordered matrix data with rows and columns, unlabeled data, any other form of observational or statistical data sets. See how to execute this one. Uh, Generally, I used to uh, I used to run this Python code in Jupyter Notebook. Whether is it visible? This Python Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook is visible. Yeah. Um, yes. Copying it. See, import pandas as PD. XYZ web is equal to. See, XYZ import pandas as PD. XYZ is a day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and visitors 1,700. Just we are just giving values for this one, and df PD data frames is equal to XYZ dot web. So this will be coming like your matrix. This will be coming like your matrix, that is day, visitors, and bounce rate. All these values will be coming. Okay, these are generally data frame, I believe. And this is one more library, scikit-learn. Scikit-learn is a library used to perform AI in Python. It provides large of supervised and unsupervised learning algorithms in Python. Uh, okay. It consists of popular algorithms and libraries. Apart from that, it also contains the following packages: NumPy and Matplotlib. If you to implement this scikit-learn, we first need to import the above packages, these packages. Okay. Now, in this scikit-learn, after scikit-learn these packages, we are going to do some hands-on uh, after installation of this Python programming, and we have discussed about packages and variables or data types we have discussed, and for loops, I mean loops, functions, we have discussed. Now let us check. Let us check some programs. In hands-on, we are going to data preparation, building a classifier, naive-based classifier, linear regression, and logistic regression. And these five things will be discussed in our hands-on session. Yeah, just give me a while. Yes. In data preprocessing, I did not mention that. No, I have to type it. First, we are importing NumPy as NP, NumPy as NP, and importing sklearn.preprocessing. Import sklearn learn dot pre-processing. Just to run it, right? Now, why this NumPy is basically NumPy is a general purpose array processing. I said right, array processing package, which is designed to efficiently manipulate large dimensional, multidimensional data. Okay, multidimensional array. So sklearn.preprocessing, this package provides many common utility functions, transforms classes to change raw feature vectors. Okay. into representation that is more suitable for machine learning algorithm. This is very suitable for machine learning. Okay. And what is the necessity of data pre-processing? So in our daily life, generally, we cannot format, we cannot say, what can we say? Data may not be uniform every day. Data may not be uniform every day. So to format it, so we cannot predict with our daily, activities, right? Uh, After getting some data of your everyday routine work, that may not be formatted data. So we need to try to format it or just to compare it, and what action will be taken or what kind of activity he is going to do tomorrow. We can predict. I think uh, you got my point, right? Every day is not the same task we are doing. Okay. And first 6 to 7 what we are doing, 7 to 8, it is not like that, right? 6 to 7, uh, what action he has done in the last, I mean yesterday, today what he is doing, and tomorrow what he is going to do. So expecting is very difficult. It's difficult us because activities are not regular, right? To make it a common point, to make it common, we are using SQL and pre-processing. I mean pre-processing the data. Okay, that is one example. I believe more number of projects will be like this only. We cannot have proper data, so we need to pre-process that to make some formats. Uh, that will be easy to predict the no predict the outputs, right? Now, after this importing, we need to define some sample data. How to define that inputs? Input, let it be input data is equal to np data, np array, array definition is 2.1, comma 1.9, we let us give some negative values also. 2.4, 0.6, and some 0, 0.5, 0.6. Directly give it without any space. Looks good. Just and to run this block of code, and I'm not running the complete program at a time. Just after giving a block, just run it. Yeah, this is the point is that. Yeah, it means if there is no error, just previously we got some error like see, there is some error, right? Invalid syntax, and if it is not there, then only two non-keyword arguments accepted, only two, right? So debugging will be very simple in this Python, right? Yes. After defining the data, some pre-processing techniques are available in this sklearn.preprocessing. That is, let it be binarization. I need to convert this into binary. Okay, if the in, you just take any threshold value, the threshold value is greater than zero point 0.5, then it is giving 1. If it is less than 0.5, it has to give 0, right? So for that, what we need to do, data binarization. Data is binarized. Data binarized is equal to, I mean, I mean to say this is a binarized data. Pre-processing, pre-processing dot binarizer. Binarizer is your model, and we are giving some threshold value. Threshold, and just what I have said, the same things, the same keywords. You can write threshold is equal to 0.5. That transform, transform the sample data. Data name is inputs, input. Right? Just run that. Data binarized, pre-processing, binarizer, binarized is equal to pre-processing. Give me a minute.
Sir, we can't see your screen, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Please share your screen, sir. We can't see your screen.
So 1 minute.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yes, I request all the participants to stay in.
Yeah.
Don't leave them, please.
Is it visible, ma'am, now?
No, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Yeah. See, here I have given data, and here it is data. Put data. Why it is not coming? Can you help me, any participants, if you found any mistake in this code? Transform input data pre-processing dot binarizer. Are there any spelling mistakes are there? Binarizer pre-processing threshold. Any helps?
Sir, hash is not defined, I think, sir. Hash.
Hasher.
Yes.
This one, I think that is for comment, right? Which is for comment.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
Just give a second. It's not defined. Input data is not defined. Yeah. Was a mistake. Yes. Now, see, this is binarized data pre-processing binarizer threshold is equal to 0.5 dot input data. See, in data is binarized. Okay. So, this is one technique of data pre-processing. And next, mean removal is one more type. Mean removal is one more type, that is uh, print. I'm very sorry, just I forgot this to save a copy. Mean is equal to inputs input data. As we are working on input data, this is just mean x is equal to 0. So this is the mean value, and just standard deviation also you can do that. Uh, this is STD. Deviation. Yes. So we have found this mean and standard deviation for the above data, above input data. Now you can give the scaled data scaled scaling for this one. Data scaled. This is scaled data. It's after removing your mean values from the input. Pre-processed. Pre-processing. Next. Print this one. Print. Yeah. Next, standard deviation, the same thing.
স্টেডি চলে যেতাম বরং
Next, just try to find the mean. Sorry. Right. We got the standard deviation, right?
Participants are requested to
Mean
mute
and
their
standard deviation. Next, for the scaling is one more technique of pre-processing, data scaler. Scaler and min max equal to pre-processing
I request Partha Pratim Sarangi to mute yourself, please.
scalar feature range feature range is equal to 0 to 1. 0, 1. This is going to do this scaling one. Means we are giving values from 0 to 1. Next, same data scaler min-max data scaler max is equal to scalar min-max fit transform. Fit transform into transform input data. Will give the inputs. Yeah. Next, I want to try to print this scalar value. I mean scalar values slash n. Max scales. What value? Data scale min max, right? Data scalar min max, right? See, it is ranging from 0 to 1, right? So here we have used three pre-processing techniques, that is binarized are coming from 0 to 1, and if you remove uh, mean values from your input data, it will give some other values. And in scalar, and it is scaling from 0 to 1. So how it is doing, how it has happening, that is inbuilt operation. If you want to format, if you want to give some what we can say, some comparison or pattern, so every value will be in this range. That is one pattern. That is one value. Okay. To make it uniform, we are creating this pre-processing. Okay. Next, normalization is one more technique. see, normalization, for normalization, what we need to do, normalize the data normalized, normalized data, just giving a value, normalized, normalized. So this pre-processing technique is very important, so that just I'm not skipping this. Normalize input data. Just whatever the data we are giving, we are doing operations in that data. Data, comma. So value 11. Session L1 normalized data, normalized data. Try to print this normalized data after getting normalized. What the value we have given for that data, the normalized level. Pre-processing normalize data. Yeah. See, these are the steps. It's taking so much time, and it is time is running out. I need to check more number of problem check. Just as of now, just skipping this. If I get some time, at least 5 to 10 minutes, we'll discuss about this normalization and you know, normalization and labeling. Okay. Now, according to our this one, building a classifier and linear regression, we'll go to linear regression. Yeah. Slides. Yeah. What is linear regression? What is regression and what is classification? We'll give the definition. Just a small difference between this classification and regression. We'll see regression and classification algorithms are supervised learning algorithms only. Uh, predict predict the continuous values such as price, salaries, and age is for uh, what we can say normalization, and predict the case like male or female, true or false, spam or not spam. This is for the regression. Okay. So to find out the regression, to execute this regression, just import NumPy as NP from scikit-learn.linear model. We are working on linear model and import linear regression. We are taking some random data, that is np.array 5, 15, 25, or reshape -1 to 1. Okay. So if you run this, there is no error here. And NP array, this is from NumPy, and we are giving some values X array, and Y is it is again one array. Next model, we are using linear regression. This is coming from scikit-learn. Model fit X comma Y. This is again linear regression This will be output. What is that? Which model we are using? We are using regression, linear regression model. Model is called linear regression dot fit xy, means R. This is model dot score x comma y. Coefficient of determination is this one. So we are calculating the linear regression coefficient. Okay. See why we are using that function model dot score. Model dot score. See, once you have a model fitted, you can get the result to check whether the model works satisfactorily and interpret it. When you are applying score, the arguments are also the predictor x and the processor regressor y, and the return value is r square. This is r square. Okay. The attribute of model or interprets attribute of model is uh, an interpret, and this is model coefficient. This is model coefficient, and new model is called linear regression dot fit x comma y dot reshape is equal to -1 comma 1. So this is intercept. Right. Print slope. New model dot coefficient is 0.5. Right. So predicted response for this one, we are going to find the predicted response for y. Right. So this is about the linear regression. What we are doing in linear regression is, first uh, we are just importing packages and classes like NumPy and scikit-learn. Next, providing a data, sample data. Then 2 dimensional, one column at many rows as necessary. Maybe this is for simple or single or linear model. So we are taking only one, and create a model and fit it in that particular model. For that, what we are doing, we are using some model or linear regression. Next, next some interception, normalize, and copy x, something there like we are fitting this model into f of fit x comma y. X comma y value is what we have given here, and we are applying linear regression model. Then get the results of the linear regression model and predict the response. Once there is a satisfactory model, you can use it for predictions with either existing or new data. To obtain the predicted response, use dot predict. Okay. Use predict y. What is it? Prediction? Yeah. What is it? Prediction, whether I have done prediction here. Yeah. predict X new value. What is X new value? X new value somewhere I have given here, and the Y value is given, and the new prediction is this one. New prediction for the previous X value 0 to 4 is this one. With the help of the given data, it is giving a linear model, and after that, whenever the X values you are giving, automatically we can predict the Y values. So this is linear regression model. Now, logistic regression. Logistic regression is also similar like linear model. Now, same thing we are going to do, like import the packages first. Import the packages, functions, and classes. Next, get the data. Next, get the data, create a model, and train it. After training, um, evaluate the model, train the model, evaluate the model. Next, prediction. Just predict it. Okay, and we can also calculate the accuracy of the model. Accuracy of the model. See, already we have imported functions and libraries here. Next, we are giving the ranges and our XY values for this. Next, we're just trying to get what are the X values here, what are the Y values here. Next, right, this is model we are using. Logistic regression. If you uh, if you want to check what kind of model you are using, model.fit.x, y, then it is logistic regression random set is equal 0, solver is lib linearizer. Okay. Next, logistic regression. In logistic regression, C is equal to 1.0. C is equal to 1.0. Class weight is equal to non-dual. This is the syntax for logistic regression, and multi-class is equal to 1. Random set is equal to 0. Solver is equal to uh, lib linear. Okay, model is equal to logistic regression. Solver is equal, just trying to give the same. Random fit.xy. Just we are fitting this value into this logistic regression. Okay, just run it. Next, run this model.classes is equal to 0, 1. Just uh, give some intercept and predict probability of X. Okay. Probability of X we are just giving. It is giving some values like probability of the length. I did not count that. Model predict.x is equal to 3 zeros followed by something. This is the score. So this is a confusion matrix. I think true positive and true negatives, false positive and false negatives. These 4 values it is taking, confusion matrix we are taking, and we are calculating the precision, recall, and F1 score, whether we need to support that or oppose it. We are calculating this accuracy, macro average, and weighted average for this one. Okay. So this is, we are calculating regression accuracy also in this linear regression model. Next, we are going for the classifier. Yeah, just I have imported one a package like import sklearn, scikit-learn. Next, this is, we are importing the data of breast cancer. Breast cancer data is taken from iris data is to load breast cancer. Now, if I print the data, it is some a combination of zeros and ones and decimal numbers, some characters or strings. I mean, characters, strings, uh, all the values, just zigzag data is coming, and we cannot format that no manually. So we are trying to pre-process the data. Label is equal to, just we are taking sample labels. Label name is equal to data target names. This is target features. So feature names is equal to data feature names. Just it extracts something. Label names malignant and benign. So malignant and benign, these two types of class are there in your cancer data. So we are using mean and radius here. Print features 0. So this is called malignant, which is having the highest score will be known as a malignant, means it is dangerous. And now from sklearn model, select import train test or split. If I want to check based on this training, I mean after getting some data, what are malignant data and what is benign data, we need to separate that, we need to classify that after giving some training, and we need to test it. It belongs to either benign data or malignant data. And whether the cancer is malignant or benign. From sklearn model, selection import train test splits. Okay. Train labels, test labels is equal to train test split features labels. Test size is equal to 40%, and random set is equal to 42. We are taking a random set as 42, and testing purpose we are using 40%. From sklearn.naive base, we are using naive base classifier here for this uh, cancer data. This is importing from Gaussian naive base. This is Gaussian naive base. GNB is equal to Gaussian naive base. And tested. Now we are fitting this data. In the previous case, we have fit the data in the model like linear regression model or logistic regression model, right? So we are fitting this data into this Gaussian model. After this pre-processing, it is binarized. The complete data is binarized. After that sklearn matrix input accuracy score is 0.957. So after training, if you give this test data as 40%, then the accuracy is 0.95% will come. Okay. So this is again a Gaussian naive base. I think mostly, yeah. Yeah. This also a load breast cancer we are taking, and somewhere over here, I have checked with some other pre-processing technique, not with binarizer. 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 Okay. So what are the topics? Whether all topics? Data preparation, building classifier, naive-based classifier, linear regression, and logistic. Yeah, 5 are completed, and one more is giving some problem, right? What is that? Finally, we have discussed some topics. We have discussed some topics like um, data preparation, building a classifier, naive-Bayes classifier, and linear regression and logistic regression. And in data pre-processing, I'm really sorry for this. And yeah, you can, if you have any doubts, you can ask me, please. Any doubts, please raise your doubts.
Participants are requested to do with a query or questions, if any. You can post the query in the chat box also. Please use chat box for posting query, or you can answer also.
Yes, if you have any doubts, please raise your queries.
So no queries, I think so. Everybody have asked and posted the query also. Sir, shall we close the session then?
Yeah, if there is no query from the
Yes.
participant side, we can close.
Yes. Yes, participants are once again request. If any queries, you can ask, sir. Okay, sir. I think there are no
Yeah.
queries. I thank you very much, sir. Thanks for taking up our session.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Given,
much.
you have given a very brief details of all the packages that are being used in a Python and how to data pre-process and then how to use the data creations. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you so much. And I'm really sorry for the participants. I have missed that file, I believe. And in front of you, typing has become very difficult for me, and it has taken a long time. I would have
you can
explained
share the
clearly if I get some time.
ye- yes, sir. You can share the notebook link also, sir, so that we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
go
sure,
through.
sure.
Okay.
I'll
Thank you very
send you.
much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
The participants, you can take a lunch break. We'll have a break from 1 to 2. The third session will start at 2 o'clock. So all the participants, please join the meet at 2 o'clock.